everyone, my name is Jinju. Welcome to my channel. Today I will have an exciting video showing how much I earned from Medium ever since I started writing it. But before we dive in, let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Jinju and I am a data scientist with a PhD in economics. I have been working in the industry for almost 3 years. So this is my first content-intensive video. I know a lot of you may find me here through Medium. I want to extend my warm welcome to you by sharing how much I make at Medium with complete honesty. And in the end, you may know why I start and continuously writing at Medium, and hope to inspire each and every one of you to start your own blog or any other creative platforms to share your learnings and build a community with like mind. So let's get started. Let's start with my direct income. Before I go deep in the numbers, I just want to update on what my current status is. So I started writing at Medium on the end of August in 2020. When I was learning data science by myself, I run into a lot of Medium articles. Whenever I Google something, always a Medium article pop up with very high quality content. The first article that I read at Medium was a very complete analysis about how COVID-19 is spreading in the United States with all those visualizations and analysis. It has all the information in very concise yet very complete way of showing the data, and it is much easier to read than an academic paper. So after several articles that I read, I decided to sign up. And when I was preparing my interviews, I was thinking like, why not? I can start writing by myself just by organizing my notes together and just publish what I have learned recently. So far, I have published 42 articles with around over 1,700 followers. So this video was made in October, so I haven't really accumulated all this earnings in October of 2023. Until the beginning of October, I have earned $7,856, and this includes $1,985 from referrals and $1,100 from a one-time bonus for being the top 1,000, I think first and top 1,500 writers at Medium. The referral counts for around 25% income, and the bonus counts for 14% income, and all the other is coming from the article readings. So now we have a good overview on those numbers. Let's look at how my incomes and the followers referrals are growing over time for the past 3 years. So in those two graphs, you can see how my total income, including bonuses and referral earnings, are growing over time. And then also how my followers, referrals, and subscribers are growing over time. If you put these two graphs together, you may notice the similar spikes I have for earnings made and followers gained. And if I calculate the net incomes from the article reading time, which is excluding my total income from bonuses and the referrals, and you will see the co-occurrence of spikes are more obvious here. So does this mean that more followers that I have, the more incomes that I make? And this is actually a causal question that needs more analysis. But based on Medium's earnings calculation, the earnings are mostly calculated based on Medium members' reading time. So to convert a follower to actual earnings, first of all, they need to sign up to be a Medium member, and also they need to read your article, not just follow you. So that's how you answer a causal question with human knowledge. So now the question goes, how should you grow your follower, which is your audience base? So the most common method is to write consistently at Medium. So if you see this graph that I have on my earnings and followers time series, and also the new article time series, you can see this spikes is also coherent with each other. Whenever I publish new articles, I gain more earnings and followers, and eventually those followers stays with me and read more articles that I write in the future. But is it true that publishing more articles correlates with more followers and higher earnings? So if you see the scatter plots to look at how many articles that I publish for each month versus this month's earnings and this month's follower gained, and you can see there is slightly a positive relationship. But if you notice these two green areas that I highlight, which is the months that I publish 0 articles, but I still have a significant amount of earnings or a number of followers gained. So this is basically what the definition of a passive income. To understand this better, I have divided my writing journey into 3 phases: the fast growing phase, the slow growing phase, and the stabilizing phase. So for the fast growing phase, it was the first 2-3 months since I started writing at Medium. I have been publishing 2-3 articles per week because those were the times that I was unemployed, just looking for jobs, and I have a lot of learnings and also a lot of notes that I've taken to prepare data science interviews, and that has set a very good foundation to a head start and accumulate me a couple hundreds of followers in the beginning. The second phase starts when I had my first full-time job. I have reduced my frequency to 2-3 articles per month, and you still see this growing in followers and also earnings, but it's not as much as the fast growing phase. And when I switch job and start working in my current position, I have reduced my frequency further to 1 or 2 articles per year. And for the slow growing and the stabilizing phases, I'm more focusing on writing about data science career development and some good practices that I have at work. So from observing those facts, you can see the importance of writing consistently. Another very important aspect on the median earnings are the article quality. Even though they are all my babies, I have to admit that they are in different qualities. Let's look at some top articles that I have and how they have been rewarding me differently. So the highest earning article that I have is the 12 probability practice questions for data science interviews. I think this article gives me the highest earnings because it has 12 probability questions, and if you really take time to look at them and trying to figure out the solution yourself and compare to the solutions that I provide, you will spend a lot of time on this article. And it's also one of my early stories, so it has been accumulate income for almost 3 years. The next one is the article that I have with the highest claps, highest rates, and the highest daily views. So this is another article that I published about data science interview. This one is about the statistic questions. So this one actually gave me a good surprise one morning when I woke up and I saw this blowing up page in my article rating stats that I have one article that received almost 10,000 views at one day. And there are also articles that I think brings more values to the readers, especially the ones that are related to my expertise in causal inference, and all articles that I wrote about my journey of becoming a data scientist and also how I have grown as a data scientist. But those articles are relatively new, so they haven't accumulated as much earnings as the ones that I published 3 years ago. So recently, Medium has been making changes on calculating the earnings for writers. One of the change is to increase more weight on the Medium members' reading time, and also in coping with the impact of AI and encourage more genuine human writing and reduce the amount of earnings from clickbaits like articles. They have been putting more weight on calculating rates to view ratio and award articles with more interactions with readers like claps, a response, and highlights, become a follower, become a member because of reading your articles. So those are all positive changes that I think Medium should have to protect writers that actually write, and rather than just using AI generated articles. But it has been negatively impacting my earnings. At least just looking at my data in September, you can see my earnings dropped because of those changes. And I think it's mostly coming from my articles are mostly read by external viewers, meaning that those readers are not really Medium members. So the members' reading time is actually reduced. As for the raise to views ratio, so Medium have defined rate as someone who stay with your article for more than 30 seconds. I think this is important because it means that your article is meaningful, it's not a clickbait. And for my articles, actually I write long articles with a lot of details. On average, my articles are over 8 minutes of reading time. So it naturally will attract people to stay longer if it's a longer article, if you actually read it. On the other side, for long articles, people tend to read later rather than read right away, unless it's super interesting things or they are dedicating the time right now to read articles. So I see a lot of people collecting my articles and add it to their list. This action may not transfer directly to earnings right away in this month because they may read it later in next month or next few months or never. Another change that Medium has is to select articles to be boosted to broader audience by their algorithm. Luckily, I recently have one article being boosted, so I get to see how this has impacted my earnings. This article actually doesn't have the most impressive views or rating stats compared to my past articles, but the earnings are very impressive. In the first day when my article has been boosted, I make $20 out of it. There is a boosting factor when they calculate the earnings that really helped me to reach this number, but I don't know the details on how they calculate this number. Okay, so that's all I want to share about the direct income that I made through writing at Medium. Thinking about the first few months when I started writing, my initial goal is to I wanted to cover how much I pay for the membership per month, which is like $5. I wanted to offset that $5 through writing, but this has led me to a much more fruitful outcome. What Medium has provided is much more than just a place to make money, but also a community of sharing and helping each other out based on your past experience. Since you have experienced this roadblock, you write it out so people can avoid that. So I think that's something that's really meaningful for me, especially when I started learning data science. I was learning by myself, so reading those articles are really helpful for me. Writing is a way for me to give back to the community. So that's why if you are interested in reading any of my articles and you haven't decided to sign up for Medium member yet, please let me know and I can send you the friend link. So now you have seen the direct income that I got from writing at Medium. You may think it's not very impressive. So let's actually do some calculation. I wrote about 42 articles and each of the article I took around 8 to 10 hours from form an idea to have the final draft and submit. And then you can see that I make roughly around $8,000 overall. So if I calculate the hour rate, is actually around $20 per hour. It's much lower than my regular hour rate. So why do I still write a Medium continuously? There are monetary reasons and non-monetary incentives that I will share here in this section. So first of all, the monetary incentives come from some of the indirect income that I got through writing at Medium, mainly through expanding my network. The biggest indirect income comes from the opportunity that I had switching jobs as a data scientist. So my current manager actually reached out to me because he has read some of my articles at Medium. We had an initial connection, and then a couple months later, he reached out and asked me whether I am interested in a new opening in his team. And I am interested. I started the interview and finally got a position and been working in this company for over the past 2 years. The initial compensation increase compared to my old position were over 50%. If I haven't started writing or haven't published that article that got his attention, I wouldn't have the connection and working in my company right now. And then the second opportunity I had was creating some data science courses on an online platform for an NGO company to bring more people with the skills in data science and data analysis. So it's project-based, and I got reached out because I published articles at Medium and they see me as a good fit for this position. And the third opportunity is what I'm doing right now, where I am developing an online course. I am actually writing a complete course in the applications of causal inference in the tech industries. Kind of like a combination of data science and economics. It's still in the developing stage, probably gonna be launched next year, so stay tuned if you're interested. For the last two opportunities I have doing individual projects or developing online classes, the total compensation that I got from there are actually higher than what I have already made in Medium. And those opportunities wouldn't find me if I haven't have online presentation and also have those extensive connections through writing at Medium. So that's the indirect income that I have made through writing at Medium. There are other incentives. One of them is that I want to build a passive income stream. It has been always my goal to have multiple income streams, especially the passive ones, where I don't have to commit to finish specific tasks at certain time to get rewarded. And this has become more and more important as I know myself better. I am someone that value freedom a lot. Freedom gives me the opportunity to explore things that I really like at the time that I wanted to do it. I also know my working style or my lifestyle, that I have moments that I am super devoted in something, that I am working very hard, that I can have a lot of times spending on something for a period of time. But also at some point that I was also very tired and doesn't want to do anything and just wanted to relax or needs to travel to recharge my battery. Passive income stream matches my lifestyle or my work style, that I can have times to build foundations and enjoying the fruit when I'm not feeling the mood of working. For all those articles that I have put at Medium, I view them as assets that can generate long-term incomes and passive incomes. In fact, I have an article here. It's about all the 7 important distributions that you should know as a data scientist. And I got an email one day from a company that want me to take off this article from Medium, but give me $200 so I can publish this with their publication. $200 is a one-time payment, so that's why I didn't agree with this deal. I value more about what they can generate in the next 5 or 10 years or my lifetime, that I don't want it to be bought as a one-time payment. Another reason I still write a Medium is it actually started as a note-taking app for me. I find it helps me understanding concepts and organize different topics into the right place. According to Feynman's role in learning something new, when you are able to teach someone about something, it's the time that you know that you fully understand this concept. Because if you have any uncertainties or unclear about anything, you wouldn't be able to explain things clearly. So writing has been served as like a motivation for me to learn new things, also a way of helping me to understand things clearly. If I find anything unclear when I'm writing, I will do more research, and this has always helping me in my continuous learning journey. Lastly, creation in general helps me and helps others. It helps me to stay focused and stay creative and always have an open mind on different opinions and be ready to share what are my understandings of something. It creates a very good community to exchange ideas and expands my knowledge horizon. It also impacts others in a way that I have never imagined. From all those warm messages that I receive from LinkedIn or the comments below my articles for really thinking me about how they have been benefiting from my writing in either preparing an interview for data science to enter this field or any guidance that I have on the career development as a data scientist. Those are the impacts that I didn't expect, but also it acts as another motivation for me to continue give. For the future steps, there are different pathways that I can take. I know there are certain articles that will always give me higher views or higher payouts. I know there are other ways of increasing median incomes by guessing what your audience really like. But that may not be the path that I want to take because I want to write what I feel like writing at this moment. At the beginning, when I prepare for interviews, I have a lot of learnings on how to get into the field, how to self-learn data science, and how to prepare for the interviews to get into the industry. But as a more experienced data scientist who has been working in the industry for the past 3 years, I have more learnings on what are the important skills that we need to have to further develop your career and your skills. I think those are the current learnings and the things that has been mostly in my mind that I wanted to share at this stage. And the thing about stats is you might be anxious about it, whether I publish this article. If I publish this article, whether people are gonna read it, and how many people read it will affect how much money you make out of these articles. And as the saying goes, if you wanna make $1 million, you have to impact 1 million people. But there are other ways to make 1 million impact. If I can choose between whether I impact 1 million people once versus I impact a small group like 1,000 people 1,000 times, I would always choose the second route because I wanted to write deep and I want to write something that can continuously bring impact to people's life, not just one time. Alright, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this far. I hope sharing my direct and indirect income through writing a Medium and my motivations will inspire you to start your own blog. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment below or find me at Medium or LinkedIn. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel for more video content. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and see you next time.